Good morning, all of you. So in today's class, we are going to discuss the electric field due to charged bodies, different types of charged bodies. So what we had in the previous class, like we just had an introduction to the Coulomb's law and the point charge and the electric field due to point charge. Now, we are going to, in today's class, the electric field due to various charged bodies. Various charged bodies means like it can be ring, line charge, semicircular ring, quarter circular ring, charged disk, semicircular ring. So all these are types of bodies that will come. So for different such objects, how the electric field, what will be the electric field at various points? I think this will be like a more mathematical one. Already you have enough idea in the gravitation. The same ideas or the same mathematics what we took help in the gravitation that we are going to use here. Find this one. So I suggest you, like, if you find very difficult, go back to gravitation. We have done so many numericals related to this, finding out E bar. The same thing what happened, we can apply it here. So immediately what you can recollect things. We'll focus more on F equal to Q E bar. Tomorrow's class I'll start different. So today we'll try to confine as many problems related to E bar. Finding determination of E bar due to various bodies. This is, I'm making all the topics in series, no? This one, yesterday's class, everything. Maybe I think after in future what happen, all the content will be available at one place for you. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
I'll increase the volume. Yeah, fine. Okay, from my side, there's the maximum volume. Okay, now we'll start with the E due to bodies. The first one, we'll start with the rod. Suppose there's a finite rod is given for us. Next question comes, how do this finite rod? So let the charge on the rod be plus positively charged rod it is. E bar due to finite charged rod. Where I'm asking you to find out, you have to determine certain at a distance here. Let this be A. Length of the rod, let it be L. And let lambda be the linear charge density. Okay, now next question comes. What is actually this charged rod? What it is made up of? Thin charged rod it is. What it is made up of? How do, so what I do is, like, I'll take a thread, non-conducting cotton thread. I'll take a cotton thread. I'll dip this cotton thread in a charged liquid, and the liquid will get deposited along the length of the thread, and that will become a line charge. Getting how to produce. So we have point charges we have come across. So now what happened, the charge bodies, I'm starting with this one. So what I do is, this is a cotton thread. Cotton thread is a non-conducting cotton thread or plastic. Don't take conducting one, cotton thread or plastic wire. It will be thin. It should be thin. I will dip this in some liquid, charger liquid, positively charged liquid. So what will happen to the liquid? The liquid will deposit on the thread, and that will become a line charge. So how to produce a line charge? There's a one idea is what I'm proposing. Getting, no? So in books, we don't have much information that is just started. So students often get confused. Sir, what is the method? This is the easiest one. Everyone knows, like, if you just dip a cotton thread in a water, the water will get stuck to the thread. Similarly, the charged layer, the charged liquid or pen will get stuck to the cotton thread or the plastic wire. So in this way, I'll get the line charge. After this, how the charge distribution will be uniform. Charge will be distributed uniformly. Will be distributed. The charge will be distributed uniformly throughout its length. So then I'm able to define the lambda. So what is lambda? total charge by length of the thread. What is Q? Q will become total charge. This lambda is called as linear charge density. What is the lambda? Lambda is called as a linear charge density. Linear mass density, where you come across, I think, several chapters like center of mass, moment of inertia, and gravitation. Here, instead of linear mass density, linear charge density. What will be unit for this? Coulomb per meter. Have this much of idea. Such a line charge is what I have considered of length L. Linear charge density of this is lambda. It's a positively charged here. I want electric field strength at point P, at a distance A from one end. So what will be the field at this particular point? Do we have any formula for the line charge? No, because what we know is only electric field due to a point charge. But this is not a point charge. It's a charged body. It's a charged body. So what is the method? So I'll do one thing. I will take a small element of length dx. This element will have a charge dq. Then let it be at a distance x. Here I'll find out the field at this point P due to that only point charge. This is one approach what we'll have. Whatever the type of charge body, you have to assume an elemental structure. For line charge, what is the elemental structure? For a line charge, the elemental structure will be a small elemental length. Then what is this dq? Dq should be equal to lambda into dx, charge of that elemental one. Now from the electrostatics, what is dE is equal to? dE should be equal to k dq by x square. There's a there's an electrostatic field at point P due to this elemental charge. The first time, let me write some. What is this one? Field at point P. Best thing, shall I suggest you after today's class, go back to gravitation and so instead of their elemental mass, you have a charge. I think the at a stretch within today only you can finish off all E bar due to all that one. Need not to wait for teacher. Okay, now let's get into the mathematical part. Okay, this will become further dq will be lambda into dx. So this will become k lambda x to power of minus 2 dx. So this will be now what should be the limit? Where do this? This is what x equal to 0. What is this length? X equal to a. What about this length? X equal to a plus l. Try to see the limit and defining this x equals 0. Where the charge is present? Charge is present in the region x equal to a to x equal to a plus l. So the limit will be a to a plus l equal to k lambda x to power of minus 2 plus 1 a to a plus l minus 1 by x a to a plus l. So then minus of minus, this will be plus. So the final answer will be E equal to k lambda L A into A plus L. What is k? K is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. In yesterday's class, we had a discussion. No? So the value of k is k lambda L A into A plus L. So this will be the field due to electric field due to this finite line charge. How it will be directed? Okay, let's this one. So the direction of this field will be here in this direction. like that at every point. As you vary A, as you move away, the field strength should decrease. Getting the idea? This one? Any doubts you can clarify, because they're very fundamental, because almost 10-15 numericals revolves around this idea. If you have any doubt, you can just clarify. Okay, no problem. Okay, I'll scroll down. Anything you can put in chat box. Huh? Any such doubts you have, you can put in chat box also. No, small idea-based problems can be asked for you. Suppose if this is the rod, charged rod it is. Rod is natively charged, the field will be towards, if the rod is natively charged, the field will be towards, because for native charge, how the field should be. Okay, I'll draw that. If it is a native charge, the field will be directed towards the charged body. Okay, the field will be towards that one. If the positive charge body, the field will be directed away from the body. If the negatively charged rod, the field will be directed towards the charged body. So the basic idea: positive charge, negative charge, the E bar due to positive and negative charge. So if it is like this, there's a charged rod. Exactly the midpoint I'm asking. Uniformly charged rod it is. Exactly the midpoint, what is the electric field strength? Anybody wants to answer? Please do think. Exactly the midpoint of the rod, what should be the field strength?
0, sir.
Should be
0,
zero.
sir.
Yeah, it should be 0. Fine, good. Yeah, it should be 0. Some limits, some conditions will come. Just like a, you can say like a some sort of to have awareness, because like a what you can ask me a question is like, sir, even at the midpoint there should be some charge. Okay, that limitation conditions will come. Just qualitatively we are just analyzing it. The field strength at the midpoint of the rod will be 0. Okay, I agree this. And now at the 1/4 of the length of the rod. I think such surprise questions can come for you in exams. You have to be alert. At 1/4 of the length. Lambda be the linear charge density. At the 1/4 of the length of the rod, what be the field strength? I think due to this, like a quarter length, and next due to this quarter length will cancel out, no? The field at this point P. What will be field? Who will contribute at point P? This off. This off will contribute the field at point P. Able to analyze? The field produced by, so what is the reason? Suppose say like I say I have a two charges. Now what is the field strength at the midpoint? Should be 0. Got it? Exactly the midpoint. What will be the field strength? Will be 0, because due to this positive charge, E bar will be towards right. Due to this positive charge, E bar will be towards left. The resultant field at point P will be 0. Similarly, the E bar due to this quarter and the E bar due to this quarter length will be equal and opposite here. Who will contribute the field at point P will be the remaining off. So then point P will be at what distance? This is equivalent to rod of length L by 2 Then what is the distance? Will be L by 4. So what changes will make it here? In place of L, I should write L by 4. In place of A, I should write L by 4. Instead of a capital L, L by 2. Instead of A, L by 4. Simplify this, you'll get the required answer. Anybody? K lambda. Anybody value? What shall I write?
8k lambda by L, sir.
8k lambda by L. Nothing will come 3, so nothing will be
Sir,
there.
8k lambda by 3L.
8k lambda by 3L, sir.
3L, yeah. Yeah, this one. How it will be directed? Direction?
Towards right, sir.
Towards right. Okay, this one. These are the objective questions, where as a teacher, I really, because in the books we have till here. What are the numericals I can test you in exam? The same formula. If you know, if you remember this formula, okay. If you are unable to remember this formula, you should derive. You should work out. So I suggest you better to memorize this, make it a memory. In exam, you can directly start with this one. You need not to derive, then get into question. Directly, if you know this formula, you can attack the question, and within 1-2 minutes, you can end up with the answer. I'll go for the next one. Okay, this is about the finite rod. Okay, after this, we'll take the. Okay, there's a finite rod. The charge positively charged rod at a distance d, where the ends they subtend an angle alpha. This is beta. Exactly at this point, P, you have to determine the field. Lambda is the linear charge density. It's a finite rod. It's having some length L. So that instead of the length L, we have here alpha and beta. What are alpha, beta? The line joining the ends with the point P will subtend an angle alpha and beta with the horizontal. What is the small d? The perpendicular distance from the rod. At point P, we have to find out the electrostatic field strength. This also I did in gravitation. I'll give 3 minutes time. You must work out. In fact, it's very lengthy. Okay, take 5 minutes. Okay, you open your notebook and start working. So do we have any formula for a long rod? No, we don't have, like for a finite rod. There's a finite rod. Finite thin charged rod. Okay, now if you can get a formula, then what happens? We can really modify this for many other situations. Finite thin charged. If alpha beta 90, it will become very long, thin, long charged rod. If beta 0, alpha 90, it will become semi-infinite long rod. Like that, the conditions will come. If alpha equal to beta, it will become like a finite rod where you are finding out the field on the bisector. So just by varying alpha beta, we can go for the different conditions here. So instead of working 4 different numericals, let me work out only one numerical. Then I'll put a condition for alpha beta. I'll get one generalized formula so we can discuss many situations. Got the idea now? What was my intention? Okay, now we have to find out the field strength at point P. I'll make it small. The another one will keep all the modifications. Try it. It's a very good mathematics for you. Good mathematical drill. I think the page, I may need 2 3 pages. Huh? Okay, anyway, we'll manage. Shall I wait or shall I continue? Shall I start deriving or you want to try?
We'll try, sir.
We'll try. Okay, then I'll give 3 minutes timer because I can't wait 10 minutes.
Yes.
Come on. Yeah. Don't type anything on this website because nothing is available. It may because we are very busy in college work. No, I'm not getting any time to only just domain name got it. Maybe it will take another long time. Nothing new. What all your the videos and the notes will be available there for you. On planning some assignments, good assignments and test if time permits. Yeah. What we have to do, our answer should come, the field strength at point P should be in terms of lambda, small d, alpha, and beta. Because these things are known no, for us. Lambda, small d, alpha, and beta. In terms of this, the final answer should be there. Close door, close door. I'll close the windows. Okay, let me begin. I'll feel bored sitting ideal like this. I'll start this one. So let me assume a small element. Fun. So let this here, this will be dE dash, you write it. So this angle, let it be theta. Let this be phi. Let this be phi. And let this be r. So what is this? Now d phi will be the angle subtended by this element at point P. This is a point P. Okay, let this distance be equal to x or y, anything. I'll take y. Then this will become dy. So this is elemental charge dq. Okay, no. So this is our base diagram, the alpha beta. Now what I'm finding out is the field strength at point P due to this small element of charge dq, that one. So let this be dE dash. Okay, now the conditions will be dE dash should be equal to first only from Coulomb's law, k dq by r square. What is further r dq all that has to be substituted. Now in the vector form, what is dE bar should be equal to dE dash cos phi I cap minus dE dash sin phi j cap. dE dash, what we can write, k dq r square cos phi I cap this is a resultant dE bar. Further, what is dq? Lambda into dy. Okay, if I go for integration, what is the biggest problem? This angle is varying, this angle is varying, this r is variable, this dy is variable, this is unknown thing. So how many variables are there? 3 variables are there. When do we can integrate? When one unknown, one variable should be there in RHS. This is unknown thing. Okay, I'll integrate. Here the variable should be only one, but we're having here variables for what is this angle phi, phase the phi, the dy, and also the r. So now I should look at the mathematics where I can simplify. I can everything. This should be RHS should be converted into one variable. What is the best variable? Let me pick up the angle because d phi will vary from alpha to beta. So let me eliminate these two things in terms of angle phi. Okay, for that I'll look at the cos phi is equal to d by r. So r equal to d secant phi. That's the one thing. Next, similarly, tan phi is equal to y by r or y equal to r tan phi. Let me substitute these things here. Y by d. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, let me substitute these things here. K lambda. dy will be, okay, dy is needed. D secant square phi d phi. So this will be dy is equal to d phi. R square will be d square secant square phi. This is cos phi I cap. Dy will be k lambda. This will be by d. K lambda d Okay, fine. I think we are in for better good position. Now I have to go for the limit. What should be the limit? What shall I do with the limit? See, there's an angle. If I measure the angle in this sense, means I want the field strength due to upper segment of the rod. Due to upper segment of the rod. Then this angle d phi will vary from 0 to plus alpha. This angle will be 0 degree line. If I vary the angle from 0 to plus alpha, I'll get the field strength at point P due to the upper segment of the rod. Then how do I want the field strength due to lower part? Then I should like I rotate this angle in opposite sense. If this sense, if I rotate, will be positive, no? The angle. So then the field due to lower part will come only when you rotate the d phi from 0 to minus beta. Look at the alpha and beta, they're measured in opposite sense. I'll take this clockwise as positive. The counterclockwise will become negative. So the limits here will be zero to plus alpha. Also like this will be minus beta to plus alpha. Once again, I'm putting 0 to plus alpha, 0 to minus beta, or the limits will be from minus beta to plus alpha. So solving this will become E bar equal to K lambda. Integral of cos phi will be sin phi. Integral of sin phi will be minus cos phi or this E bar will become K lambda D sin alpha plus sin beta high cap. Negative of negative, this will be positive. K lambda D cos alpha minus cos beta j cap. I think there's a very generalized formula. If you can remember so many conditions, you can take it. I think such formulas, no. So any numerical with a finite rod, you can easily manage with the help of this one. Okay, see once the total description is at one place. Alpha beta, as for the different numericals, I'm going to substitute it with different signs. Completed. Okay, let's go for now. Due to long rod, let me all define one by cases, different cases here. Let me have this formula in hand. Oh. Okay, no, first due to long rod. Positively charged long rod. Very important, so many numericals revolve around this condition. Now what is the field strength? At a distance, D is asking. What are alpha and beta as there is a long rod? So alpha and beta tends to 90 degrees. long, thin, charged rod, or infinite long, thin, charged rod it is. How the E bar should be directed. Okay, let's substitute all these conditions here. Equal to K lambda D sine pi by 2, sine pi by 2, high cap K lambda D. Look at this quantity. This will be 0. So this will be, will end up with 2k lambda, 2k lambda high cap. Or further, k is what? K is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught d. What is small d? Perpendicular distance from the rod. And how the field will be directed perpendicular to the length of the rod. What is the type of field? Will it be uniform or non-uniform? I think we should have a basic idea. You are weaving from top. Suppose say this is a rod. Let's see that this one. So now if I draw a, how the direction of field will be, the field will be directed radially outward. Yeah. It's not a point charge. The field will be radially outward. Why, sir, why you are showing the lines of force of this kind? As you move away from the rod, as the distance d increases, the electric field strength will decrease. And we know that field strength decreases, the spacing between lines of force should increase. That's all. So how the field will be similar to like a point charge where it's a top view. There's a rod. This one is a rod, charged rod. So till where the field will present? Till infinity. And as you keep on, as you move away from this, the field will keep on decrease here. This is very important. Means no, I'll draw a line parallel to the rod. What will be the field strength at all points on that rod will be equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught d. Able to get this? This one. So you get so many numericals based on this, the lines of force. Means you should know how the field due to long rod. So what you should imagine now, the rod as some sort of like a black or red color. Surrounding it open yellow color, you should assume. So how anybody can you make, shall we say like this will be cylindrical type? The field will be like some sort of a cylinder because a long rod, no? And what you should assume is a long rod, red color, long rod you should assume. From that open, the yellow color is coming out, radially outward, along everywhere. This was the imagination one must have. Three-dimensional imagination one must have. Means like I have colors. Luckily, okay, we have a colors to show. I'll show it. This is a long rod. I'll bring a cylinder. So what is this cylinder? This cylinder is what? The lines of force. The field. Not finite everywhere. Till infinity it will be spreading. So this rod will be there along its axis. No. Let me arrange a better one. This yellow color is not a rod. Yellow color is not a rod. The rod is this one. This is the charged rod. Everywhere you should assume. And how the field will be radially outward. Okay, fine. This is the field. No, thin rod, no, no question of inside the rod. No question of inside the rod. Huh? Let me have water. Okay, this is about the long rod. Next we'll go for semi-infinite rod. Semi-infinite rod. Let me bring this formula. Copy. What are alpha, beta? Okay, this is the alpha. And this is the D, no? So what is beta? Beta alpha tends to 90 degree. Beta will be 0. Okay, now please think over it now. Apply that formula. How to get the direction of field also. This formula will get everything for you. If you don't know this, again, you can integrate this also. You can solve by the same method. I think this will be, that approach will be, let's a bit very lengthy. Better if you remember this formula, it will help you to overcome all the situations, like whatever the type of question, you can easily manage. Okay, let's use this formula now. E bar is equal to K lambda by D sine pi by 2 plus sine 0 I cap K lambda D cos pi by 2 minus cos 0 J cap. So K lambda D I cap K lambda D minus J cap. Readily we got the answers. So it is having two components. One is, this is, will put it in a very simplified way, E perpendicular I cap E parallel J cap, because the orientation of rod can change. Rather than I cap J cap, we'll call perpendicular. So it will have one E perpendicular component, other will be E parallel. And what about that magnitudes? Both will be same. I really suggest you need not to, you can say goodbye to this formula now with this approach. For a finite or for a semi-infinite rod, there are two components will be there. One, E perpendicular. What is the E perpendicular? The component of field which will be directed perpendicular to length of the rod. What is E parallel? Component of field that will be directed parallel to the length of the rod. And what about those two magnitudes will be equal? How much K lambda by D or lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught D? So the resultant field, how much of what angle it can, how much of angle it must make an angle 45 degree, no doubt. Can we define that E bar already we have? For semi-infinite rod, okay, there's the condition. Okay, now same thing. Let me trouble you with. If the rod is oriented along x-axis, the rod is oriented along x-axis. No. Look at the, I want on the, this I'll put infinity. Here at point P, the electrostatic field is needed. Let me change symbol. Let me write A. Find field strength at point P due to semi-infinite rod where one end is at origin, the other end is at infinity, and the rod is along x-axis. This is a totally different problem. Let me control. Okay, now see this. What you are going to do? See, you need not to bother anything. Let me bring this point here. Now what you are going to do? There are two components will be there. No, one will be E perpendicular. The other component will be E parallel. Sir, how you are going to assume E perpendicular? Perpendicular to the rod. What about E parallel? Sir, why can't be like this? Why can't be E parallel? Now a student can think, sir, why can't E parallel? Say, go have some common sense. If there is a point charge is here, how the field at point P will be? Will be away from it, or will be in this direction, or will be in this direction? I don't want to talk much. The field at this point, how it will be? Will be in this direction, no? Or will it be like this? Or will it be like this? How will it be like this? You must answer it. One, two, three, four. Which one shall I pick up? The field at this point, due to this point charge, it should be away from, as it is a positively charged body, it should be away, no? In this direction. Then what when one component will be perpendicular, the other component will be parallel. So roughly you assume a small point charge. From there, what when you can make a guess of the resultant E bar along line joining the point charge to point P. Then one component perpendicular to the rod, other will be parallel to the rod. You should not do like this, huh? Sorry, E parallel to this. I'll put arrow like this. Then nobody can help you. Got the idea? So you should have assume a small elemental charge and get the direction of like the approximate direction. Somewhere it will be like this. Then one component along y-axis, other will be along negative x-axis will come. Parallel means in any arbitrary direction you cannot put it. Okay, again, what are E parallel? E perpendicular lambda by 4 pi epsilon t. What is the total magnitude? Should be E perpendicular square, E parallel square. This should be the resultant field at point P. Magnitude. How much of angle it will make? It will make an angle 45 degrees. Okay. Because the magnitudes are equal, root 2 will come. 4 you can write 2 root 2. So finally this will be the magnitude. And it should make an angle 45 degrees. So rod need not be always along y-axis. The rod can be x-axis or any other thing. Even the rod can lie in some plane. I'll ask you to find out the field at certain point. So use the same method. Okay, let me give one more condition. And I want you people to try this. I'll not work out. One end is at infinity, the other end is at origin, and at coordinate at point P on the y-axis, you have to determine the electric field. Find E bar due to semi-infinite rod. You can pick up any point. I just asked you. You can also pick up one point here. Try this one. I think you have another 1 year time to appear for JEE advanced exam, so you can keep on trying. But what is the method? Again, the same formula. What we derive, no, that is going to really help us a lot. Or else what you should do, so no, sir, I'm very good in integration. And then assume small element, find out field strength at point P, then define the limits, then integrate to get the answer. Okay, this is about the due to finite rod. Okay, now we'll take the next charge. Some arc will take. We'll go for an arc. I think I have a space. Okay, this charged arc, it will subtend an angle alpha. Let the linear charge density be lambda. Let R be the radius. You have to find out the field strength at the origin. So this is a charged arc. Find E bar at origin due to charged arc. And what is that arc? Arc will subtend an angle alpha at the origin, and let R be the radius, and let lambda be the linear charge density. What can be the... We don't have any formula, no? So what shall we do? Again, we are going to assume an element. Then due to that small element at origin, first we'll assume a small element. Then due to small element at origin, what is the electric field? Then I'll integrate. I'll make it this small, then the diagram. I'll bring another diagram. Yeah. Now this is what. Let me define. These are the boundaries. Let me assume a small elemental. I'm going to assume two symmetric elements. And now the question you have to ask, like, sir, why you are bringing two elements? Because previous problems we did with one element. Previous problems, it was only one element. Now I'll bring two elements. So like that, you look at when you are finding out the gravitational field or electric field. So what we do is like we'll define the elements. Sometimes one element, sometimes two element. So what is the method like when I should assume one element, when I should assume two elements? I think this is a primary doubt will come for a student. So this will be dE dash dE dash. This is dq. This is dq. So this angle, let it be theta, theta, d theta. This angle will be theta, theta. Why I took two elements? In case of rod, we took one element, no? So what is the method like when to assume two elements, when to assume one element? If you are finding out the field about a point where the charge is distributed symmetrically, you see that one. About origin, I'm finding out field. How much of charge, how the charge distributed, it distributed symmetrically about y-axis. So therefore, I'll assume two elements. Why here only one element? Because the charge is not distributed symmetrically about point P. Just it is above this line. This assumption is very important. Please do learn. Such skills only will help you a lot. So why you didn't assume two elements? It's not distributed symmetrically. If you assume one more element here, what you get? You'll get dE double dash. You do it, then also you will get one x and y component. So why to trouble again two elements? Let there be only one element. Able to get this one? If this point lies on a bisector, then I'll go for two elements. For a finite rod, if I ask you to find out the field strength on the bisector, then it's better to assume two elements, because the reason for that, about this point, the charge is distributed symmetrically. Getting the idea? So these are some mathematical things which you should learn here. When to assume one element, when to assume two elements. Because about this point now, about the bisector, the charge is distributed symmetrically. That's why I'll go for two elements. The charge is not distributed symmetrically with respect to this. So therefore, only one element. Then I think same thing with this semi-infinite. Here also the same condition. Now, the charge is distributed symmetrically about y-axis. So therefore, two elements will come. So due to an element is dE dash, due to this element will be dE dash. Okay, let's get into the mathematics of this one. So first we'll define what is dE dash is equal to k dq by r square, where r is the radius. Okay, dq will be lambda into ds. What is ds? R d theta, angle subtended by the arc. So one r get cancelled. So k lambda r ds will be yeah, fine. This will be d theta. No, what is the resultant field? The resultant field should be equal to 2 dE dash cos theta. 2 dE dash is what? K lambda r cos theta d theta. What should be the limit? Anybody limit? What is the angle subtended by the arc? Alpha. Shall I write 0 to alpha or 0 to alpha by 2?
0 to alpha by 2.
0 to alpha by 2, because I assumed two elements. I assumed two elements. If I assumed only one element, 0 to alpha. I assumed two elements. So now what will happen? 0 to alpha by 2. What is this angle? 0 to alpha. This is the theta equal to 0 degree line. So 0 to alpha by 2. The limit should be 0 to alpha by 2. So therefore this will become
Sir, if we assume that a single element, we can take the limits from minus alpha by 2 to plus alpha by 2, sir.
single element. If you assume, you'll die with mathematics. Not advisable. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Then if you take single element, then 0 to alpha, you should write it. But again, cancelling the components all will be a big headache, no? Cos theta will become sin theta. So the field strength at O, let me write, because at point O we are finding out. At origin, it will be 2k lambda r sine alpha by 2. I suggest you to remember this, or lambda. Is it a line charge? Is this a line charge? Yes, it's a line charge. Same rod only I bent it. Please have general thing. You purchase, you can have some wire. I think some iron wires which are used to bind some rods in construction. You just go to any hardware shop. You ask them to the like a 1 millimeter gauge iron wire. They'll give that one, which is used in construction. Not thick rod, just thin rod. Okay, that particular rod will be like a bundle will be there. You can bend it in any shape. No? So if it is a long finite rod, if the straight finite rod, if you bend it, it will become arc. You can make it semicircle, ring, quarter circle. So what is lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r? Due to line charge, due to arc, what happens? Sine of half of the angle subtended. For exam, you have to remember. This will be a lot of confusion. This will be much easier. So the field due to arc is field due to line charge, lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. This is due to long rod into sine of half of the angle subtended by the arc, where at the center of the arc. Don't say origin, field at center of arc. There's a one formula we ended up, you're supposed to remember. Okay, now we'll see some conditions. It's a quarter semicircular arc. That formula let's have. First one, the field due to semicircular arc. I'm telling this one, okay, this will be very boring for you. F equal to Q E bar. So very good problems are there. You can enjoy the electrostatics in that region. Now the E bar due to different bodies is similar to gravitation, just a mathematical one. F equal to Q E bar. And next, the conservation of mechanical energy in electrostatic field. These are the two very important topics are there where you can revise your total mechanics. Total mechanics you can revise to such a powerful topics they are. Huh? Now this is semicircular ring charged semicircular ring. I'll give that charge also. Now, what is the field strength at the center O? Let lambda be the charge and let r be the radius. What is alpha here? What is alpha? Alpha should be pi. Then what is our formula? E naught. In place of alpha, I should write pi, no? So sine pi by 2, I'll get it. What is the direction? How will it be directed? It will be directed in this way. No, we'll go for similarly due to semicircular arc. It point at origin, you have to find out. So what is the angle subtended in this case? Alpha is pi by 2. Then, sorry, alpha is pi by 2. Then how much will get it? The magnitude. E naught equal to lambda 2 pi f naught r. Anybody, can you tell me like what should I write this angle? There's a magnitude, huh? There's no doubt. So this angle, or we cannot find out.
45 degrees, sir.
It must be 45 degrees. Huh? If you see this only magnitude, if I ask you to find the vector, what you should do, there's a magnitude. Again, you should take component of this along x, along y, then you have to express. The only magnitude is what I brought it. Quarter circular ring. Now here only, I think I'll scroll down, just make observation once. Let me scroll down. Only magnitude, huh? Only magnitude. Here I'm able to tell direction very clearly. Semicircular ring. Here only magnitude. Direction, if I want a vector form, E naught cos 45 I cap, E naught sin 45 J cap. And what is E naught value is this much. Please be careful. Huh? Here very easy. I'm able to tell the direction. But here only magnitude is what I brought it. Vector form, you should write in vector form using this quantity. No, there can be a situation where what I do is like this lambda, which is there. Lambda naught cos theta, I'll bring it. The linear charge density is going to vary. Is it a uniform charge distribution? No. The charge distribution varies in this way. So what will be the method? And what is alpha? Alpha is pi by 2. I want the field strength. What is theta? Theta is defined like this. I think this alpha is not needed. Let me define theta. Okay, now I find the field strength at point 2. Look at the linear charge density. It is a function of angle theta. The linear charge density is a function of angle theta. Here, how much it will be linear charge density? Lambda naught. As you move along the arc, it will be 0. So is it a uniformly distributed? No, non-uniform charge distribution. Charged semicircular ring with a non-uniform charge distribution. say like this, the conditions will keep on varying. A student has to develop a mathematical ability to analyze rather than trying to work out many numericals. Two methods are there: analyze, develop a skill, or work out numericals, develop a skill. Which one is possible for you? Carry on that one. If you are able to think, analyze, need not to do many problems. No, sir, I don't have that much of thinking ability. Work out many numericals, acquire the skills. Either of method is applicable in science. Again, what is the approach? Uh, shall we write any formula? Shall we use this formula? Shall we use this formula? Can we use this formula? The answer is no. Sir, I'll just substitute alpha equal to pi. That's all. And I'll write later on lambda equal to no. This formula is designed keeping uniform charge distribution. But what was the question asked? It was a non-uniform charge distribution. What we should do? Again, we have to proceed in the similar way. As the charge is distributed symmetrically above the origin, we'll assume two symmetric elements. Then we'll carry on. Let me begin like this. I assumed two symmetric elements. First, we'll find out the E bar due to those two symmetric elements. dE dash, dE dash. This is theta, this is theta, d theta. D theta. So this will be theta, this will be theta. I'll do the mathematics here. What is the assumption first? dE dash, we define it. This should be equal to k dq by r square. What is dq? Lambda into ds. ds is the arc length. K is what? Lambda naught cos theta. ds is r d theta, arc length. ds equal to r d theta. What is d theta? Angle subtended by this elements at the center. So after this, it will be k lambda naught. This is d theta, no? K lambda naught r will come outside. Cos theta d theta. What is the resultant field at O? 2 dE dash cos theta further. Cos square theta, 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2. What should be the limit now? So let me write one more step. 2 will get cancelled out. So k lambda naught r d theta, k lambda naught r cos 2 theta d theta. Anybody limit? 0 to pi by 2, since we assume two elements. So E naught is equal to, this will be k lambda naught r pi by 2. Cos 2 theta will be 1 by 2 sine 2 theta 0 to pi by 2. I think this quantity will become 0. So we'll end up with, check mathematics all once. If you say yes, then I'll conclude the problem. So there can be a situation where lambda will be non-uniform. Uniform, non-uniform. I think you have to be extra careful in the numericals. Even for the line charge, the charge will be distributed uniformly along the length or non-uniform distribution. This substitute upper limit, sine pi will be 0, sine 0 will be 0. So this quantity will be 0. Okay, no, I think this will be our answer. If you say yes, then I'll go for the next condition. Check once the limits all, calculations part. Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, now similarly, we'll go for E bar due to ring. E bar due to charged ring. We can't, no, not possible. E bar, okay, this is a uniformly charged ring. Then on the axis, we have to find out the resultant T bar. Let R be the radius of the ring. At a distance x, this will be O. Where is the charge present? The charge is present uniformly distributed along its circumference. In which plane the charge is lying? The charge is lying in YZ plane. And on the x-axis, I'm asking you to find out the field strength at point P at a distance x. I think it's a three-dimensional one. So try to assume it. I think I'll extend this line. Yeah. Now you can see this dotted line is passing, and here I'm not showing dotted line. I think girls will be wearing bangle, no? That bangle is what this ring. No, so this E bar due to charged ring. E bar on the axis of charged ring. No, I'll assume two elements, two symmetric elements. I'll assume it. Let this be theta. DE dash, DE dash. I think every point on a ring will be equidistant from point P. It is like some sort of cone, and there's a base of cone. So you take any point on the ring will be at the same distance from the point P. So I assume now two elements. Then what is DE dash? Let's define first DE dash. K dq by R square. Now you take any point on the ring, at what distance it will be from point P. Will be at a distance R only. I think cone ice cream now, summer season, very good. You take when you are before eating cone ice cream, this apex of cone. So here what all the chocolate will be there, this circumference. You take any point on this will be at a distance R only from the apex of cone. So look at now, r small r is a constant or variable now. It's a constant. And what is dq? The elemental charge. So let's go for the resultant field. The resultant field will be 2 dE dash cos theta. Okay, look at the cos theta also. It should be constant. So now in the integration, what all will come outside? 2k cos theta, or will substitute that cos theta also. What is cos theta? Capital R root of, what's like x by small r. No, x is also a constant, so I'll integrate now. This will be, so this will be d equal to 2kx r cube dq. Now what should be the limit? 0 to q by 2. Why not q? Because I assume two elements. I assume two elements. So 0 to q by 2. If I assume only one element, 0 to q, it will be. So solving this, the E bar will be 2kx by r cube, q by 2. So kx by kqx by r cube. Okay, let's substitute all the things. So kqx, what is small r? Small r will be r square plus x square to the power of 3 by 2. This is the magnitude of LT field, and now it will be the resultant field will be directed away from the center of the charged ring. Since a positively charged body, so the resultant field will be directed in this way. E bar on the axis. Then let's get into some mathematics. I wanted to know how actually that variation is. So when I plot the graph, okay, the variation will be somewhere at a point, it will be maxima will occur. And the variation will be symmetric about you should touch that E maximum. The variation will be symmetric about the axis here. This is E bar. No, look at this one. At r small at x equal to 0. Sorry, this is x. Put x equal to 0. The field strength will be 0. Then as x increases, the field strength will increase. Somewhere at a certain value of x will be maximum. Then again decrease. Don't show symmetric about this point. Not possible. Because here 0, where it will be 0 again, at x equal to infinity, it will be 0. So the curve should not be symmetric about this maxima. I want this maximum field, and at what distance from the center on the axis will be maximum. So for that, shall we differentiate this dE by dx? Anybody differentiate and equate to 0? You'll get value of x. Differentiate field on the axis of ring. No, no. Anybody value x equal to? We did in gravitational, that's why I'm asking. Otherwise, I would have done. Value x equal to. Differentiate and equate to 0, you'll get the value of x in terms of capital R will come. R by root 2. And substitute the value of, okay, ma, yeah, R by root 2. Then that E max, if you substitute that one, it will become 2 kq by 3 root 3 r square. Please do remember, you check the mains exam, you do have questions based on this. In exam, you can't derive, and again I'll differentiate, I'll equate to 0, then I'll substitute x equal to r by root 2, then I'll get this formula, then I'll use. By the time your competitor would have solved 4 or 5 problems. So you should know this formula and you should know this formula. I'm making things clear. There's no other way. You may be very intelligent, but if you don't have some suitable memory, not possible. You may not get good score. Plus or minus root 2. Either way, no, it will be, yeah. So here, this is r by root 2. The field will be maximum here. We do have plenty of good questions. Do remember timing this data. So like this, the field on either side, don't think that field will be there. Even the electrostatic field will be present in this side. On either side, from the center of the ring, at a distance r by root 2, the field will be maximum. How it will be directed here? Towards right. What about field here? Will be towards left. Okay, this is about the field due to uniformly charged ring on the axis.
Sir, can you explain the limits, sir, in that? For dq, how it is from 0
So
to theta bit?
I assume 2 elements. So therefore 0 to q by 2.
Yes, sir.
So I took 2 elements, no?
Yes.
Hmm?
Yes,
Limits are as 2 elements are assumed. Okay.
yes, sir.
No, we'll do the uniformly charged disk also. Yeah, we'll finish off that also. We'll wind up. Charged disk. We'll find out field due to uniformly thin charged disk. Please, tomorrow don't miss class because I'll be starting F equal to Q E bar. Very, very, very important. Please, all of you. These are all mathematics anybody can manage. Tomorrow, some very good numericals is what I'm going to start. They're really going to help you a lot. So it's like a revision of math, revision of mechanics. Better Okay, carry on now. On the axis field due to E bar, due to uniformly charged disk. You have to find out on the axis of the disk, the expression for that. Uniformly thin charged disk. Let R be the radius of it. At a distance 6. So here you have to calculate the field. Carry on. How to get this charged disk? All of you, chapati, you know, will apply some ghee, no? What is a chapati? Non-conducting body. Then you apply ghee. You let's apply ghee only on one side. Then nothing but that ghee is nothing but a charge. I'll apply uniformly the ghee on the surface of chapati only on one side. I'll get a uniformly thin charged disk. Or bread jam, you take bread, you apply jam only on one side. The jam is a charge and the bread is what? Some substance, non-conducting charged body. So how to get the thin uniformly charged disk? You take some paper, thin wooden circular disc or thin paper or thin plastic disc. You deposit charge, you take some charged liquid, take a brush and paint it uniformly. The charge will get deposited only on one surface. Then it will become a uniformly thin charged disk. Okay, carry on. No. So what is the elemental structure you are supposed to assume here? The ring, the elemental structure is what? The ring is what we are going to assume. What is the charge? The charge is what I have to show here. What is it? Then we'll define here uniform charge density. Sigma will define it. What is the sigma? Surface charge density. Only on one face the charge will be there, not on two faces. Bread, you apply jam only on one face of the bread. That's all over. Total charge on it will be Q, that one. Let R be the radius. No, on the axis you have to determine the field strength. So I'll start with let me assume a ring of radius R and thickness dr. I think this also we have done in gravitation chapter. Even this also completed in gravitation chapter. Thick arrow. Thickness of this, let it be dr. The width, and let this be smaller. Radius of this is capital R, or yeah, capital R, let it be. Then how much of charge present on the ring? dq charge. Total charge on the disk, let it be capital Q. How much of charge present? Elemental ring it is. This is a disk. What is this? Charge on elemental ring. Shall we write sigma into what is the area of the ring? dA. Sigma, what is dA? 2 pi r dr. What do you mean by area? That green color one. Area of the strip. Better. Like what is the ring? Ring of radius r and width dr. I think this dr is not thickness. Dr is not thickness. Dr what we should call the width of the ring. Technical terms, please do notice. Dr is width of ring. Okay, let's get into this one. So what is the field strength at point P due to this elemental ring? DE should be equal to field due to elemental ring. DE should be equal to what is the formula? K dq r by r square plus small r square plus x square to the power of 3 by 2. From where I am bringing this, what is the radius of this green color ring? Small r. And what is the field strength on the axis of that ring? This should be formula. Why smaller? Go back. Just now we derived. This is what? Yeah, x. No, it should be, sorry. KQX it is. Now what to do? How to integrate? Somebody should help us, no? Here. How to manage that integration? So let me take help of the geometry available here. So this is the this is theta. So call this is say some we have took almost all symbol, no? Some SS, let me write it. Tan theta, what we can write? R by X. Look at some triangle. So where's the triangle? I'm asking you to look at this triangle. Tan theta equal to R by X. Then R equal to, so can you replace X or R? I think better to replace R. R equal to X tan theta. Then we'll simplify all the things. So what should be the condition? No? Let tan theta equal to R by X. Fine. So let's get into simplification part. D equal to K. What is dq? Sigma 2 pi r dr into x. Take help of this substitution. R equal to x tan theta. Dr is needed. R equal to x tan theta. Dr should be replaced. Dr is equal to x secant square theta d theta. Let me substitute all the quantities. D equal to 2 pi sigma k. Let it be outside. What is R is equal to? X tan theta. Dr is x secant square theta d theta. X, let it be as it is. All divided by R. R will be x tan theta whole square. X squared to the power of 3 by 2. 2 pi sigma k x cube tan theta secant square theta d theta. Here x square, 1 x cube will come outside. So tan square theta plus 1 to the power of 3 by 2. X cube get cancelled. So 2 pi sigma k. Tan theta will be sin theta by cos theta. Or one more step. Tan theta secant square theta d theta. 1 plus tan square theta secant square theta. So secant cube theta will be there. Please look at here. I'm replacing 1 plus tan square theta. I'll write one more step. What is this one? Secant square theta 3 by 2. So this will be 2 pi sigma k tan theta, secant cube theta, secant square by theta. So this will become secant theta d theta. So this will be only, I'll end up with this one. What should be the limit? So I'll integrate. Zero to R only. Later I'll bring it. Later I'll bring it. It should be 0 to capital R only. So first we'll get expression 2 pi sigma k. This will be minus of cos theta. There's limits. The limit will be 0 to capital R. I'll bring it. And what is cos theta from the diagram? X by S. I have space. Yeah. I'll proceed like this. 2 pi sigma k. Cos theta will be minus of X by S root of, this will be R square plus X square. The limit should be 0 to capital R. Don't go for in terms of theta. Let it be this one. Don't substitute any limit. Now you substitute the limit. So what is the resultant field will be? E is equal to 2 pi sigma k. First X equal to capital R. So minus R root of minus X by root of R square plus X square. Minus of minus, this will be smaller equal to, so this will be 1. So the final answer will be further k, what you can write 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So 2 pi get cancelled. So sigma by 2 epsilon naught. I think this formula what you have to remember. Many good questions will be there with SHM, other things. This is our final answer. You check the main sum 5 times they've asked. Any student remember this formula? Finish all. You can manage. Field on the axis of thin disk. I'll show the complete the workout. Okay, see once. Okay, no, so this field due to ring, field due to uniformly thin charged disk. These are the formulas you have to memorize. Make a habit of remembering things. It's good, no? Last moment in exam memory, very difficult. Even for gravitation also, you can slightly change. Nothing is there. Sigma there, here q by pi r square. That will be m by pi r square. So electrostatics, what all you remember, nothing but parallel, it will help you for the gravitation. Please have this idea. What all you put effort, no, it's either way. It's going to help you for other chapters also. Now let me do one thing. Capital R, let it be infinity. What is capital R? Capital is the radius of the disk. If R tends to infinity, R tends to infinity means what that particular charged body will become? It will become a non-conducting charged sheet. if when r tends to infinity, then how the charge it will be non-conducting charged, large non-conducting charged sheet. Large means like infinite only. Where the charge will be present on one side. Charge is present only on one side. So what is the field? The field strength will be how much it is equal to sigma by large thin non-conducting sheet. In the books, what happened? The large means will show boundary like this. There's a practice. Means it's a very large, that one. So what is the field will be 1 minus x by r will be infinity, no? So this will be sigma by 2 epsilon naught 1 minus x by infinity. Finally, how much will end up? What you're getting that has to be uniform. Means how do this will be? The non-conducting charge sheet, no, we do represent like this. Thin non-conducting charge sheet. The charge is deposited only on one face. Very important. In the Gauss law, once again, this will come into picture. And how the field will be? The field due to this will be uniform. Why I'm showing field on either side? It should be only on one side, no? Why I'm showing the field on either side? And I'm showing that sigma only on one side, you see that one. Yes, this is what I said. You take a bread, a slice of bread, you apply jam only on one side. That jam, what you apply, that is what? The charge here. And what is this? There's a E bar. It'll be uniform. Huh? And how much equal to sigma by 2 epsilon 1. Why you should produce field on either side? See, it's a very common sense. You put a point charge, what will point charge produce field on either side? Yes. On the right hand side at a distance x, will there be field? Yes. On the left hand side at a distance x, will there be field? Yes, it will be there. Similarly, same thing. If charge is present, this charge, what will do? Will produce field towards right and also towards left. Very important. When we go to Gauss law, this I'm going to take help of it. Okay. Okay. Now we'll take the next conditions. Okay, what are this? This is a charged semi-infinite charged rod, and this is a semicircular ring. Let R be the radius. The charge is present. Let me write plus lambda, plus lambda. This is plus lambda. I want the field strength at point 2. We have three charged structures: semi-infinite rod, semi-infinite rod, and this is semicircular ring. I want the field strength at point 2. Find the resultant. At point 2. Okay, let me give the number. This has 1. Let this be 2. Let this structure be 3. What is this? Semicircular ring. And what are this? Semi-infinite rod. Thin semi-infinite rod. Okay, no. I think we should take care of the formulas what we derived, if you can recollect. Due to, let me take the arrow. So due to red color. So here due to this will be E1 parallel. And E1 perpendicular, this is E1 perpendicular. E1 parallel should be like this. Am I right? Then due to this, E2 perpendicular should be like this. Then E2 perpendicular should be this direction. At same point, since I have to show two arrows, no, little bit some distance is what I brought it. Due to semicircular ring, how it will be? Should be away from it. Let's denote all with some symbols. This is E1 perpendicular. This is E2 perpendicular. This is E2 parallel. E1 parallel. And what is this? This is due to ring. I hope now you know all the formulas. E1 perpendicular, E2 perpendicular, E1 parallel, E2 parallel. This everything should be equal to lambda 4 pi epsilon naught R. From where semicircular ring, semicircular wire will be off of the long wire. Okay, lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught d, parallel perpendicular components. Or better remember, off of the long wire. Says then semicircular ring. I think I suggested you one formula, no? What was the formula? Long wire, sine of angle subtended by 2. I think there's some method, please develop, because you can't derive such things in exam. Okay, no, I think this was our question. This is due to parallel and perpendicular components due to semi-infinite wire. Okay, now due to semicircular ring, what is the formula? The formula is like E3 should be equal to due to long wire plus angle subtended by it, pi off of the angle subtended by it, pi by 2. So this should become only lambda 2 pi epsilon r. Okay, what is the resultant field at O? You can see from clearly E1 perpendicular, E2 perpendicular will cancel out. E1 parallel plus E2 parallel, how much it will be? The sum of that will be lambda by 2 pi epsilon. That will get eliminated with this. So the resultant field will be 0. If I keep a point charge here, what will be the interaction between the point charge and this structure? Will be zero because there is no field here. How the questions will be asked? A point charge, a test charge is kept at the center O. Find the force of interaction between this charged system and the point charge. We say no force of interaction. Getting some method? Okay, okay, I'm going to upload the notes, everything, ma. Everything will be uploaded. Okay, we'll wind up the class. I think 10:30. Your chemistry sir will be waiting. I'll stop the class. Yeah. Okay, thank you all of you. So now what happen? You take the textbook. In the textbooks, what happen? You will be having the numericals. I think we have. I asked you to refer Singage textbook, no, or Balaji publication or any other thing. There, in the textbook, what happen? Try to solve the numericals related to finding E bar due to different charged objects, and the application problems also. You better try to work out. Because again, now the focus should be on the numerical practice here. If you find very difficult with integration, take help of some integration formulas. Okay, fine. So thank you all of you. Okay, that one. Try to work out different numericals. Okay, thank you. I'll upload I'll send the link for the notes. I'll directly send it, no problem. And the notes, everything, I'll send a link because everything is getting stored in the cloud here. For the notes and video, I'll send the link. Okay, thank you all of you. You can refer Physics Galaxy, you can refer Singage, you can refer Balaji publication. These are some books, what happened, you can take help of them. No problem. Physics Galaxy is also a very good book. You can refer that. SC Verma is only small idea based. Okay, if you are not done in school, okay, you can start with SC Verma. But by the time you do SC Verma, time will get over. So few selected problems in SC Verma, then Singage. SC Verma also you can do, but don't do all that initial problem, that one, because time will not be there. Few selected problems from SC Verma, then the other textbook like Singage, Balaji, or the Physics Galaxy book. Okay, thank you all of you.